Boom. Recording. It is Sunday. That makes me scared. It's a long week ahead. Full work week. I don't think we're to President's Day yet. But this is our Sunday Scaries stream on the last Sunday of January. It is a beautiful 71-degree day in LA, so I might be sweating in here a little bit, as I know the East Coast is dealing with snowstorms. So I hope everyone is staying warm or cool, as the case may be. I'm here for the first time solo. Ever solo streaming, at least at the tabletop. I've solo streamed video games. But that's perfect because we're going to play a solo game, Final Girl. It is, I'm not here to advertise its Kickstarter, but it's on Kickstarter now for its second season, something that I think I am enjoying this enough that I should back before it ends like this week. But we'll find out together. What about a Mountain Dew Limoncello? Oh, that actually sounds awesome, Case. Mountain Dew Limoncello. How would that work, though? Limoncello is like Everclear and lemons and sugar. I've made limoncello, homemade limoncello. It's good. I don't know how you would implement. I guess you just replace the water with Mountain Dew. Like Everclear, let it sit with citrus rinds for 6 weeks, and then dilute it with Mountain Dew instead of water and sugar. Yeah. Okay, you know, I'm kind of sold. I could make some like Dewcello. It takes a while. You soak Everclear and lemon like rind for quite a while to make limoncello. So it's going to be a minute before I can taste test it on stream, but I'll think about this. And while I was thinking about Dewcello, optional quests, weirdly close to optimal play. Followed. Thank you. Welcome. So yeah, Final Girl is the like spiritual successor, or at least builds on. Okay, hang on. This is driving me nuts. At least in the in this view that I am backwards. So let me unflip this. Just another minute of live. Okay. See, but now when I like try to point, like if I try to point up that, I have to point to my left to look right. That's what always drives me nuts. Also, I'm not centered. It's fine. It's fine. I'll live with it. Let's just flip some of our other versions of this view of me. There we go. This one had, yep, this one's reversed. I don't want some of them reversed and not others, which is why I am now flip. There we go. And then, whoops, we're not going to be right back. We're here. We want to go to... Oh, I didn't put picture-in-picture on any of these. Okay, so let's see. I am now mirrored here. Mirrored here. Mirrored here. Oh, but the game's upside down on this one. This, if I use this picture-in-picture. Let's transform that to rotate 180 degrees. Are the other views all right side up? We've got... Yep, yep, yep. That's just me. Yep, okay. That was the only place where that needed to be done. Yeah, Case says Final Girl Season 2. When you say Season 2 ends, I assume you mean Kickstarter campaign ends. Yeah, so gotta make this decision quickly. I'm probably gonna do it. I try not to kickstart much stuff because I don't like giving companies interest-free loans. But this game's cool. And I'm a sucker for amazing production value, which this is. When we open another box later on, then we'll find out. You'll see why I say that. It's kind of nuts. The game is packaged in a way that I've never seen before. Fractal Kind Dream? Fractal Kind Dream? I'm sorry that I can't say your name very well, but thank you for the follow. And yes, I'm glad that you agree with me on Kickstarter. It's like...
Just to confirm, you'd like to call Andy Blair.
What? Siri, shut up. That was weird. Okay. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that Kickstarter is kind of not what it was created to be anymore, where you get established companies that should have the capital to produce their own game, still using it as kind of a year in advance pre-order. I'm not a fan, so I've been very, very, very seldom kickstarting anything anymore. But I don't know. I might cave on this one. We'll see. We'll see how I feel at the end of the stream after a few more games. So I played this last night for my first time. I played this same setup, although I'm going to switch. I'm still going to do Hans and Camp Happy Trails. I'm going to switch the final girl that I played. I played Lori last night with Reiko, is who I will try for the first time today. Last night I felt like I got real lucky on some early rolls that kind of snowballed, so I don't really expect that to be... I don't expect this to be a win on first try game very often, but we will see. Yeah, Kickstarter's a pre-order with no liability to them. I mean, you're right. It's a Kickstarter that puts all of the risk, or sorry, it's a pre-order that puts all of the risk on you, and also requires it to be way in advance. Whereas like video game pre-orders, although you don't need to pre-order video games anymore, but if you pre-order video games, you can do it up until like the day before they come out and get whatever, bonus or preload or whatever they're offering. Kickstarter, you got to let them have your money for a year, or in the case of Blood on the Clock Tower, which I did back, and this is one of the reasons that I now have a pretty strong anti-Kickstarter stance, is that was like 4 years ago, and it was over $100 for a social deduction game, which admittedly wouldn't have been that useful during the prime of COVID, but still... That's a lot of money to be out and to be still waiting 3 or 4 years later. Too much. But yeah. Yeah, it is a lot. It's another game. Like I said, the thing that I like out of Kickstarter games is the really high production value. I don't care that much about a ton of minis and a ton of plastic, but it's like really nice art, really quality components, and I feel like Final Girl has that, which is part of why... I did not kickstart season 1. I bought it. I bought it on the Board Game Geek Marketplace. Was where I got it. It was Christmas Day, and I decided that that I had gotten some other Christmas presents, but hadn't gotten myself one. So I ordered this, and I think it was about the same price that the Kickstarter was, and they didn't have my money for a year. So I do think that's usually the way to go. That's true. You can have high production value without Kickstarter, but. I don't know. I don't feel like that's... I haven't played Isle of Cats. Actually, I haven't played Isle of Cats or Parks that you mentioned, Fractal. Parks is beautiful, so Parks definitely qualifies. Isle of Cats, yeah, I've not really seen close enough to call that like a super high production value game. But yeah, I still feel like retail games are kind of all the same production value. Maybe not... That's probably super unfair, but like... Or super wrong is maybe more accurate, but I don't know. I feel like I have an expectation and it is met and rarely exceeded when I buy retail games, and with Kickstarter that's where it gets exceeded. So that's kind of cool, but that's because they got $5 million in advance for it, I guess. So maybe that is it does help you make a nice looking game, I guess. Let's play some Final Girl. So. This is a solo game where it is based on the horror trope of the Final Girl, where a force, usually a person, a murderer, is killing everyone, picking them off one or two at a time, and the last one left who doesn't... You don't have to be a girl to qualify for this trope, but it just often is. A girl left at the end, and she... suddenly becomes brave, is no longer a victim or like just waiting to be a victim, and becomes a hero and stops the killer. And so that's what this game is all about. It seems to be pretty... So this is not licensed. They have not licensed horror movies or anything, but they are pretty clear homages to well-known horror movies. Like this one, where we are against, I'm learning my new buttons here. Here we go. We're going to go up against Hans the Butcher, who wears a mask, and at Camp Happy Trails, clearly a Friday the 13th reference. And it's actually not really, I don't know that I've ever, oops, pressing the wrong buttons. Oh no, I have frozen, there we go. The new camera seems to have slowed down my Stream Deck buttons a little bit, probably because it's higher res. I don't think most murder victims are waiting around for it. You know, in real life, sure. In the movies, kind of seems like it. So, like I said, I played this once last night, but I am a little new to it, and also I'll show it off on the stream. I'm gonna just carefully follow the setup instructions here. And this, I know if you've watched any other, Final Girl like content, the videos and stuff, it's been the same setup because this is kind of the most basic killer and the most basic location, I think is what the game calls it. So I do plan to play this once and then open up the Final Girl Geppetto pack and get into some new stuff that I have not seen streamers and YouTubers and stuff playing so much. So we'll get that in on this stream too and not be so redundant with what everyone else is doing. But we are still kind of learning the game, and this is the easiest, I think, at least. I don't know if it's accurate to say easiest, but it's the most straightforward setup. So we're going to play a game with that. Let's see the setup here. Choose a killer and a location. We've done that. We've chosen our final girl, Reiko. We can get a little bit closer view of her there. And take the player board out. We've done that. Okay, so a lot of these that are, you know, placing the things on the table, we've done. But we've also sorted these action cards into piles. It's a little bit haphazard. There is, if you want to go all in on this Kickstarter, they have a nice playmat for this game that would give you slots for all these. I do not have that playmat, so we are going old school cards on table. Oh jeez, there's these. I don't know if it's clear how tiny these tokens are. They are going to get lost. But anyway. All right, so this card's looking nice. So we're going to set the victim meeples out. We've done that. Okay. We've set up the killer board and oops, that's not it. The location board. And now here's where we start getting the part that I need to do. The killer has some finale cards, they are called, for when it gets down to the end. This is going to be the killer's kind of leveling up for the finale. There are 3 of them. They're all different on the other side, but they all, for now, are the same on the back. And they just line up with the villain's torso here. And then we're going to place these dark powers. So there are 4 dark powers for this villain. This one is intended to only be an option if you want to play like on a harder mode. So I'm going to set that aside. And we're going to shuffle the 3 other dark powers that the villain might have. And that card is going to go over Hans's legs. Like that. Okay, we have taken... This terror stack came about 1/3 from the location, so about 1/3 of these are Camp Happy Trails terror cards, and then 2/3 from Hans. They are Hans's terror cards, and we are shuffling them together, but then just using 10 for the game. And these are both going to be kind of the killer's actions, and also the timer on the game. When these 10 terror cards, 9, 10. When we've been through these 10, the finale will begin, which is where the killer gets real tough, and we better kill him before we get killed. Boom. We're going to set that right there. Oh, hey, my microphone is in the shot. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, we've set that up. The locations item cards. So these item cards are just from Camp Happy Trails. We're shuffling them all together. And then there are 3 locations. They're outlined in orange here. The cabins, the utility shed, and the dock. Those will be where we can search and actually get these items. We are dealing a stack of 4 into each of these spaces up here for the cabins, the dock, and the utility shed respectively. 3 face down. And then the last one we deal on each stack is face up. So we know that, ooh, weapons. Okay. Oh, this is... Let me see if I can adjust this shot slightly to see the items better. Ta-da! Bingo. Okay. Oops. Slightly. There we go. Okay. Where were we? Items. Axe, knife, and energy drink. Got our G Fuel if we need it. Okay, so those will be available if we go to the right places and pull off a search. Next, we're shuffling the location's setup cards and drawing one, and setting up the location board according to that setup. So there's basically, for this for Camp Happy Trails at least, there are 5 different, I don't want to call them scenarios. I guess they just determine like where all the villains and, or sorry, the victims and the killer and I start, and it really changes, I think, kind of the way you have to approach the game because they're pretty dramatically different. We've got treasure hunt. Let's lay this here where we can see that. So in treasure hunt, Reiko, the final girl, will start here. The killer is going to start on the other side, just on the path here. And then the victims start 2 in each of the searchable locations. So they're all hanging in the places where the loot is. I guess that's why it's called treasure hunt. That one's a little more abstract. Some of the other setups that I've seen are like, there's a bonfire one where the whole camp is at the bonfire and they just like a huge pile of victims all start there, which I think is super cool that there's that kind of variety in the setup. But instead, they're fairly evenly distributed. We have 2 in each, and we have 1 in several other places. Up here, 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 and here. There's one at the bonfire. I wish that killer had a little knife or chainsaw. Yeah, the meeple. So, speaking of Kickstarter stuff, hold please. There is... like I said, I bought this aftermarket, but I did get some of the Kickstarter stuff, including this miniatures set that does actually replace the meeples with miniatures, at least for the final girl and the killer. It doesn't look like there are victim miniatures here. That said, though, I don't think that will read as well on stream, and because I think you would just see gray blobs instead of the minis, so, or instead of the meeples. So I don't think I'm going to use them now. Maybe if I get around to painting them or something for a future stream, then they would be a little bit more distinctive and read a little bit easier. So maybe another day. But yeah, so the setup has been done. Sorry, I mean like the setup card is what that was. All right, and then this step of the setup says "very important" in all caps. What we're doing here is we're taking these 9 health tokens. These are basically your final point of health for the final girl and the killer. And we are mixing them up so that we don't know what's on the back, because stuff can happen when you lose your last point of health, and each of the killer and me each get one. So in both cases, if we lose our final point of health, we will flip it over and see whether we basically come back to life and continue the murder fest, or we're dead. I guess that's how most games or most horror movies end, is with death. And then we're going to fill up these health tracks the rest of the way with these regular hearts. Reiko has 6 health, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I don't need to be too precious with these. I was like setting them all up vertically, and I decided that's going to get old fast. And then Hans has 12 health, so we need to give him 11 of these hearts. We are at 9, 10, 11. All right. Hans has a little bit more health than me. What do we got? Place the Bloodlust marker. Okay, we've already... Oops, that's the wrong view. We've already placed this little red token that is the Bloodlust marker. That is Hans kind of accelerates, gets stronger and stronger over the course of the game. It comes from this marker. And we've already done this too. Place the time marker here. Oh, except it's on the wrong number. It should start at 6. That is kind of our currency for spending in multiple ways each round. Place the second killer meeple on the horror track. We are against Hans, who starts with 4. It says on his board here, so the horror track starts at 4. It seems like it's a real kind of medium horror level. And we are shuffling these event cards right here. These are these seem like pretty dramatic little twists to the way the game works. Like I said, I played one game last night, and the event was Star-Crossed Lovers, where whenever there were exactly 2 people in a location in the camp, and one of them was killed, the other one would also be killed. Do we buy aftermarket custom sculpt meeples? I don't know if that was aimed at Fractal or me, but that's the kind of thing I would buy but never have. I do like to upgrade my games with swanky stuff. All right, our event is Vengeance. I don't know why I pissed it off, and I don't care. Just save me, it says. The victim farthest from the killer. Let's look at the map here. The victim farthest from the killer is now the damned. And I think that's what this orange meeple is for. So what's the farthest from the killer? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm guessing it's going to be these cabins kind of either way. It can get there by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing is further than, well, ooh, this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. Okay, so it's going to be one of these victims in the cabin is now the damned. Whenever the killer must choose a target, the damned is chosen instead. The damned can only be saved if it's the last victim alive, and if the damned dies, 2 extra bloodlusts. That's rough. Okay, so it's extremely important to protect the damned, and yet it can't be rescued. Okay, this is fine. So that's our event. It's right here. Damn, this new camera is nice. Big difference in the readability of these cards. I love it. All right. Oh, Fractal, you're into 3D printing. Yeah, that's the only thing that's really tempted me to get a 3D printer, because I'm not like a big crafty person, but being able to print your own game components, seeing what people are doing with like Arkham Horror, component holders and trays for the like stands for the Act and Agenda card stuff, it's pretty cool. I'd be tempted for those types of things. Mr. Trench, you've had this event round 1 and it feels game warping. I mean, I think the events are supposed to be game warping, right? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if we can overcome it. That was the last step of setup. We have not looked closely at Reiko, so she looks like this. So what's happening on this side of the card is as I rescue victims, they'll get placed on here and trigger these bonuses at the moment that I rescue them. And then if I've rescued 5 victims to fill all these slots, she flips over and gains an ability kind of towards the end of the game, and it is, once per action phase, if an enemy is within 2 spaces, you may move to that enemy's space for free. Okay. Moving in this game is like not guaranteed. You don't just have a move action. So a free move to the enemy to kind of get your final attacks in sounds good to me. We'll hopefully earn it. Okay, so we are going to take a quick look at the card supply here. There are 6 cards here that cost 0, and we get them all for the first round. And now we gotta formulate a plan here. I definitely want a weapon, but I'm trying to decide if I literally beeline to one. They should still be there whenever I want them, and I don't want to fight too soon. So I think I'm gonna maybe head towards. Oh, you know, I can have the best of both worlds. I can go to these victims at the dock, which are pretty savable, and also get the knife while I'm there. All right, that's the plan. If you hard focus the other Victs near the killer at the start, I think the killer becomes less dynamic if you just occasionally move the damned. Interesting. Yeah, my thinking right now is to kind of go get the shit I need for the fight and let the damned distract the killer for the first 3 turns or however long it takes, and then just deal with the bloodlust spiking. We'll see how that works out for us. I am going to start with I'm going to start with a focus, I think, and see if I can lower the horror level. This is where I was saying, as I was setting up the game, I was saying that I played this last night and did win on my first try. I was familiar with it from watching some videos, so it wasn't just a complete blind run. But I think it came down to early luck with these focuses, because it got this horror level to the green where I get to roll more dice. And it didn't stay there the whole game, it bounced around, but still, I just kind of snowballed that. So I'm going to try to do the same thing just because it worked once. So I will play this card Focus, and I'm going to make a horror roll, which is rolling 2 dice. And then what happens here will depend on the number of successes that I roll. Let's go. That's 1 success. Okay, that will lower the horror level by 1, which is what we were going for. And it is going to cost 1 time because it says so on the card. A 2 successes would have gained 2 time, and that's what happened to me last night, which really just snowballed beautifully. So, yeah, you can just use the damned as a sacrifice. Yeah, that is, I think, the plan. Fractal, you've been trying to buy, not buy games lately to focus on playing what you have. But yeah, I was just going to say the same thing Case just did in the chat. How have I convinced you that you need this 1 turn in? I haven't even, not even a turn. I've played 1 card. It seems like it's not that hard to convince you to buy games. Which it's not hard to convince me to buy games either, so I get it. Mountain Dew Spark. Still fine. Not great. Just fine. But, you know, unofficially sponsoring the stream today. Okay, what else do we have here? I'm thinking we go for a walk next and try to make our way towards the docks. So I don't want to play too much this round because I want to buy cards with a lot of this time. And in general, playing cards tends to drain you of your time resource. So I'm going to go for a walk and make a horror roll. And I completely whiffed it. So this gives me 2 options. I can move 1 space, I can move 1 space, lose a health, and lose 2 time, or just lose 2 time. So basically I'm losing this time no matter what. I'm just going to take it. And then I can choose whether I want to lose a health to, oops, oh no, sorry. I was thinking I had too much health here, but I'm just used to the other final girl in the box who has 1 less. This is correct. So I want to get moving. I'm going to go ahead and lose that health to do the move up to 1 space option. And we'll just move down the path. Sorry. Move down the path here. Yeah, I have to agree. Not enough good horror games. It's funny, when it was actually my friend and now kind of partner on this show, Kyle's idea to do Sunday Scaries, referring to you know, that feeling you get when you dread Monday. But we were also like, well, we should probably play a lot of horror games if we're gonna name it Sunday Scaries. It just feels right. So this is the latest. Okay, that walk is done. We are going to, I think I might stop there. I don't think there's anything else that looks too valuable. I have 3 time left, which can get me like a close call and a search for when I make it to the dock. Yeah, okay. We're gonna call it a turn already. So now we go to that was the action phase. Now we go to the planning phase, and this is where I spend the time that I have left, which was 3, to buy new cards for my hand. So their costs are here. It is so funny that the lighting just turns a couple of these cards red from the way it's bouncing off the... I wonder, wait, if I... Aha! I've done it. It was bouncing off the ceiling in a specific way that I was able to fix. Okay. So close call costs 1 time, and a search is how we get those items once we get to the searchable areas. So that costs 2 time. I'm going to take a copy of that. It's going to add, I'm going to add both those cards to my hand, giving me 6 cards that I may play next turn. After that, the cards that I played this turn go back to the supply. So they cost 0. I'll be able to get those back easily, but they don't immediately become available. They take a turn. And that is when Kyle and I played Hostage Negotiator on stream a couple weeks ago, which was... we had a blast, but we also won kind of a lot, and that was because we were missing that rule. Hostage Negotiator is like the same game system as Final Girl, and we did not realize that the cards don't go back to the supply until a turn later. So we were just buying back all of our 0s every time, and it does make the game substantially easier. And now that I've played Final Girl correctly, substantially less interesting. Having to decide whether to play your 0s instead of just dumping them all makes for a more interesting game, turns out. Okay, we are to the killer phase. 2 things happen. The killer performs its action, which is right here. In this case, it is simply to target either a victim or the final girl herself in its space, since there's no movement, and then attack it. Since there's no one in the victim space, nothing comes of that. And then we're going to draw and resolve a terror card. It's going to look like this. He just keeps coming. This symbol is going to raise our horror track. So all that work I did to lower it, it's back up. You're constantly swimming upstream against that. And then we've got kind of the a real standard action for the killer. It is going to pick a target. It's going to be the closest victim or final girl. It's going to move towards that target. That's what the boot does. And then it will attack if it made it to the target or to any victims in its space. So the target is going to be whoever's closest. And that's going to be the utility shed by my count, right? Because, oh no, the docks are also equally close. And this is, and they both have the same number. That tie would be broken by which one has more victims. So, okay, so this game has an interesting rule for determining, for breaking ties and even like rules, vagaries and stuff. Why does this look crooked? Is that crooked or is it the camera angle? I think it's some of both. You have 3 options and you have to choose one and apply it consistently, and I haven't really decided on one. You can either break ties and rules vagueness based on what's worst for you, what is most thematically appropriate, like if you're imagining a horror movie, how would this horror movie play out? I guess, or how would this situation play out in real life? It depends on how you interpret thematically appropriate. Or what's funniest. And I don't know, let me know in the chat, which one should we go with? I am not really seeing anything here that is funnier than anything else, so that's I'm kind of ruling that out here. But I'm having a hard time too with whether the killer would hit thematically the utility shed or the docks either. So it might just be, I might just have to go with what's worse for me here, which is pretty bad for me. But so it goes sometimes. Oh shit. Strike all that? I forgot a thing. The Vengeance events. That's overriding its target. Its target is always going to be the damned. Where could he kill someone more violently? The utility shed. That's true, actually. And you know, the first scene of the movie is usually exceptionally violent and out of nowhere. So there is an argument to be made for the utility shed. But that is right. The Vengeance... oops. I gotta learn these buttons better, don't I? Nope. There it is. The Vengeance event is still in play, causing the damned meeple to be the target. And then he's going to move 1 boot worth, which checks his speed, which his current speed is 1 per boot. And so he's just going to move one space. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so this is its fastest way to the cabin. So he's going to move one space. Yeah, I see what you're talking about, Case, that this is already... The first few rounds are being made somewhat easier by the damned being the target. Although, if this were to happen again, then a victim would die. So, we'll see. Okay, that was the killer phase. Next is the panic phase, where if a victim was killed this turn, then anyone in the killer space would panic, and they would the victims would run around randomly. But we don't need to do that. And then the upkeep phase is just going to be the if there was the finale, it would begin in the upkeep phase. And if I had any items, I could rearrange them. Neither of those is going to happen just yet. So we're back to another turn. And I'm trying to figure out what the heck to do with it. I kind of have two goals and I need to commit to one, I think. I want to rescue some victims, and I would do so through this. It's a little hard to see. Actually, I was gonna say it's a little hard to see on camera, but honestly, it's a little hard to see in real life. These green outlined spaces, they have this door icon. That is where I take the victims to save them, to remove them from the map, and to make progress on earning my final girl's ability. So I kind of need to do that or search the dock, not both this turn. And I think I'm going to go for the save. It does some really good abilities as you start to save victims, and with the killer kind of distracted for a little while, I don't need a weapon all that soon. So let me attempt. I'm going to try to make it through the fire pit on my way. So I'm probably not going to make it all the way there this turn because the only movement card that I have is a walk. We're going to play it now. Rolling 2 dice, hopefully getting some movement. No, none whatsoever. So I should have 6 time for the round. I did buy this close call card, which I can either play it to reroll 1 die or spend 2 time and play it to reroll all dice. And I think I'm going to do the all reroll because this is kind of the main thing I wanted to get done this turn was some movement. So full reroll. Here we go. That's better as I knock the killer's health. This is the one thing I don't really have is like a spot to look at the dice closely. Oops. I should just like put them there as we're talking about them or something. So this is a success. There we go. There's the card I'm playing. That's a success. This icon means that I can discard 2 cards from my hand to convert that into a success, which I think I'll do. That is a hefty cost because, like when you play any other card, it doesn't go back to the supply right away. I cannot... Even if there's 0 cost cards, I don't get to buy them right back. And so that's a little scary, but I think I'm going to do it to get that progress on my walking. So I'm going to discard a short rest because I'm not that damaged, and that's for healing, and a weak attack because I am not planning on fighting too soon. So those are both discarded, and we'll convert that to a success. Yeah, the dice look like the ones from Seasons, and they're big and chunky. I'm not familiar enough with Seasons to know it's dice. I've seen the game. That's another very pretty game. But yeah, they're kind of like they remind me of like the Star Wars Destiny dice. That's a dice game I've played a lot, and they're big and heavy and have rounded edges. They feel really good. I like them. The result there. Okay, I get to walk twice, move 2 spaces rather. And it's going to cost me a time. So I've now spent a total of 3 time because I did that close call for 2 also. And I'm going to sweep up this victim at the fire pit, I think. So I'm going to walk this way, and then up to 2 victims can come with me when I walk, so I can move there with both of them. The other thing I could have done was take the 1 with me to the exit, but I feel like this is more efficient. And the game... the game goes by fast. The terror, you don't have as many turns as you think, so you gotta stay efficient. Was what I have kind of learned. Okay, I think I just have a focus card and a search card left. Well, I've got some time to spare. Do I want to focus? I think I will. I'm gonna play this focus card before we call it a turn. Let's get rid of this walk. Focus has a chance of lowering the horror level, and if I roll great, it could even gain time, but more likely it's going to lose some time here. I rolled terribly. This is 2 of that icon. I can discard 2 cards to convert, and I only have 1 left in my hand, so this was a big swing and a miss. This is just going to cost me 2 time. I have nothing I can do about that result. Brutal. Okay, so now let's go to the planning phase. I have 1 time left to buy cards with, but I do also get back my zeros, a walk and a focus, and I think I'll spend that 1. There's no saving it for later, so I'll spend it on a close call. There are 2 copies available, thankfully. And now, after I'm done shopping, the cards that I bought, or the cards that I played this turn, will go back to the supply. So, here we go. I kind of wonder if I should have, instead of playing that focus, if I should have just discarded it for time so I could go on a shopping spree instead of losing a bunch of time. That might have been better, but oh well. Okay, it is the killer phase. The killer's going to try to do its action, which is just to attack someone in its space. That's not a thing in this case. And then a terror card, which is he's just standing there. Wow. Horror level raises twice. It is dangerously close to the red where I only get 1 die. So it actually needs to be a priority to get this back down. And then it will target normally the final girl or nearest victim. But again, it will be the damned. And move twice, which actually works out well. Because if it had moved once, it would be in position to kill a victim. But it's going to move twice. And that's fine. It's getting closer to the damned, which is going to just explode its bloodlust, but, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, the last phases are the panic phase, but no victims died this turn, and then the upkeep, but there is no finale, and so I'm back to a fresh new turn with a whopping 4 cards in hand. Focus, walk, search, and close call. Okay, I want to walk, and I really would like to be able to move 2 spaces and move through here, drop off these victims, and make it to the dock. That would be the dream, so I'm going to do that first so that I have my close call available for a reroll to try to help it happen. So let's play a walk. Rolling our 2 dice. Oh, it's resetting time to 6 for the turn. 1 success. Okay. I do really want the 2 though, so I'm gonna play my close call and re-roll this one. Oh boy, okay. It's the result where I could discard 2 cards to convert it, but my focus and my search, that is a real steep price for that. So I'm just going to take the one result on walk, which is to move 1 space. So I'm going to move here to this path out of the camp, and then this has rescued 2. I keep bumping these things. No, my perfect stacks of items. What are your final rescue perks? I'm glad you asked, because this is the time when I get my perks. I'm playing as Reiko, who has the options to gain... actually, let me finish resolving my walk card. I just have to lose 1 time before I noticed that I was doing that a lot when I was playing alone last night. It was like, oh wait, I got distracted by victims or something. Did I lose the time that card said I had to lose? So I'm gonna try to do everything on there and then resolve the kind of domino effects of the card. So Reiko can gain 2 time, can heal a heart, can take the planning action card, which is a 4-cost action card that can earn you extra dice on a roll. But I kind of think you want to use the planning action card with a big attack when you're getting closer to that. So I don't think that's too useful yet. And then I have 2 move 1 space options. That seems good. moving a space would really accomplish what I was trying to do with this turn. So I'm definitely going to move one space, which will move me up here to the docks. That's where I want it to be. And since I'm where I want to be right now, sorry, up to the docks, see that distraction. Thank you for the follow. Welcome. We're just playing Final Girl solo. It is a slaughterific horror game that I'm really enjoying. Okay, so I'm at the docks. I don't really want to move again because I want to search the docks, even though another move would rescue more victims. I think that I have time to do that later. So I think for my other bonus, I'm just going to heal. I'm down by exactly 1 heart. I'll just take the heal. Okay. Okay. The question is now what? I can focus and I can search, but it might be nice to have a close call in hand for the search because it's pretty bad. It raises the horror level when you fail a search. So I think I'm just going to play focus. There's things that can go wrong on this for sure. Focus can reduce the horror level, but also can just end up wasting time. But it's not going to raise the horror level or anything like the search has the potential to. So I'm going to focus. Let's give this a roll. Wow, and we whiffed, and there's nothing to be done there. So that's just going to lose 2 time. That's rough. Sorry, I should be on 3, right? Because I walked and focused both to lose 1 time and 2 time. Okay. Not ideal. Not ideal, but that's fine. I'm gonna keep my search then, yeah, because I definitely want that close call in hand for that. Jeez, I'm afraid that I'm gonna be down to 1 die though next turn if the terror level increases, or the horror level increases rather. Oh, which is quite likely. No, I need the money. I need the time rather to buy more cards in my plan. So I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna go to the planning phase. We're gonna take a look at the card supply. I have 3 time to spend. I get to take back these 4 0 cards, so that's nice. I'll have more options next turn. I'm definitely gonna buy this close call. And I have 2 left. Is it my other search card? And I'm gonna try to double up in searching the dock? I think so. That costs 2. I'll buy that. My hand is now 7 cards against the limit of 10, so then we're just going to return what we played to the supply. And it's the killer phase. I don't really know why I switched the camera to me. We don't need me for the killer phase. We need the killer. Killer's got no one to kill with its basic action, so Hans's terror card is Run for Your Life. If there are no victims on the board, we would discard this and draw the next one. That's not the case, so all victims not in your space must panic. Oh boy. All right, so panicking is when each victim has a die rolled for it that determines which way it runs. I'm sure it's a little small for the camera, even with this zoomed in view, but there are numbers here, like 1 through 6, kind of labeling the paths. So let's see where they all go. I'm going to roll 2. Because these are not... Normally, I think for 2 victims, you could just roll 2 dice simultaneously. But since they matter, I'll roll separately. I'm going to roll for the damned first, the orange meeple. Rolled a 6. So, great. The damned is sprinting towards the killer. Not ideal. And then for the other one at the cabins, we got a 5. So they are still hanging out together there. For the one at Makeout Point, it's only got one direction it can go, and it does go there. It goes to the cliff. For this one on this path, a 3 is going to send it on this 1 through 4 path. It's going to also be at the cliff. And lastly, we roll a die for each at the utility shed. And we got a 1 and a 2. Utility shed, they just leave if it's 3 through 6, and there is no 1 or 2, so they stay put. So that wasn't great. You don't like when the damned victim runs towards its own murder. That said, as we look at the rest of the terror card here, its target is overridden with the damned and tries to kill, but there's nothing in its space to kill. And then he's going to target victims, in this case also the damned, and move towards them. So the killer has made it to the damned, but has not yet murdered them. Okay, this is fine. This is gonna be fine. I think that nothing has really changed. The damned was lost, and I'm just using it to bring the killer across the park, basically, from me. Now the killer is about to kill the damned, I'm like, oh, is there anything I could do about that? But I don't think there really is. It's gonna be fine. It's a horror movie. Someone's got to die. So that brings us through the... So no one has died this phase. So that was all the killer phase. Now there's a panic phase where more panic could happen if anyone had died, but no one died this round. So no panicking. Upkeep only matters if I have items and if it is the finale, and neither is true. So we're back to my action. I've got a nice full hand of cards here, including searches, and I'm at the docks where I can search. So I think I'm going to go with that. The one issue is that failing at it can cause horror to skyrocket, which would be terrible. So actually, I think I might start with focusing. It didn't go well last time, but I'm going to play focus. With a good roll, it will reduce the horror level. So fingers crossed. That's an okay roll. Those can be converted. And honestly, converting them both is tempting because it would reduce the horror and give me +2 time. But that's a lot of stuff. I think by the same logic as last time, I can definitely spend my weak attack and short rest to convert one of them. Now am I basically spending 2 cards for effectively 3 time here, right? It changes it from lose 1 time to gain 2 time. It's probably worth it because I think I'm discarding my search if I do that, which sucks because I paid for it. But I can buy more searches with all the time I'm gaining. Well, sort of. Except here's the gap where they would be in the supply. So I guess I can't buy any more this turn. All right, fine. I'm gonna lose the time. I'm going to lose the time, but reduce the horror level, and that'll be the result of my focus. I just did the 2-card discard. Okay, now it's time to search. I'm gonna play a search card, roll these dice. I've got a reroll ready if I need it, and I just need to crush this. Oh, 2 successes. Yes. What this lets me do is take the top 2 item cards at my space and choose one, and then I keep that, and I can put the other on the top or bottom of the deck. So the knife was known because that was face up. I also get to see the second card of the docks, which is pepper spray. Taking a look at these, the knife says great for whittling, also great for stabbing maniacs. It's one-handed, 0 range here. That just means melee. So like it has to be in your space, and it adds 1 damage to any attacks that I do. That seems cool. And then pepper spray, a few squirts in their eyes and they'll think twice about messing with this girl. It also takes up 1 hand. And then this says, if the killer is in your space, you may discard this to immediately end the killer phase. Ignore the remaining movement attacks and other effects. Also seems very strong. I think I am going to leave that on top of the deck so that I can try to get it with my other search, because I think that sounds awesome, actually. And then I'm going to take this knife and put it into my hands, meaning if I fight, I've got +1 damage. Awesome. That went great. I still have a search card, and I think I'm going to play it too. I still have the reroll in my pocket. Let's just try to get that pepper spray, and then I mean, God willing, then we can walk out of here and rescue 2 more victims, and that seems amazing. So, play... Oh, did I needed to lose a time from the previous search that I played. That's what I'm talking about, getting... Thank you. I see Case said it simultaneously that I realized it in the chat. Yeah, that I do tend to get sidetracked by the extra stuff and forget to lose that time. So I should try to do that up front. I'm going to play another search. So let's just roll just as well as before. Not as well as before. Not nearly as well as before. These are 2 blanks. I am going to use my close call. Oops, it doesn't go over in the supply. It goes in my played area. I'm going to spend the 2 time to reroll both of these and do better. That's the plan. Fractal, it is so hard to stream and play. I don't know how you do it so well. Thank you. I'm getting practice here. This is actually the first time that because I got this nice, much higher res camera, I was able to set up kind of these different scenes, and there's much more readability to the table, which is awesome, but is a brain drain trying to do that with one hand with my stream deck over here while playing. So I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. We're re-rolling the search card, and going to roll much better. Okay, a success. A success. I don't have 2 cards left to convert this into a second success, but that's fine. I get to take the top item card in my space, which I knew was pepper spray, which sounded good, and I lose a time. So it does drop me just down to 1 time, but I'm going to gain that pepper spray. This item card is not flipped over. They do not get revealed just because they're at the top of a deck. They get revealed when you see them and leave them on top. Hey, KM Crit. Kyle in the chat, you're just headed home. It's going. No one's been murdered yet, so that's going to change very shortly. But for now, it's going great. Okay, that was the search card. I want the time to spend, and I'm in no rush per se to rescue these victims. So I'm going to hang on to the walk card in my hand and go to planning. And I have 1 whopping time to spend, so I'm just going to buy this close call. These rerolls are real nice. Yet is doing a lot of work in that sentence. Yeah, thanks for your vote of confidence, Case. I appreciate it. Okay, got to distribute these cards that I played or discarded this turn back into the supply. Oops, after I take my zeros also. I definitely get those back from last turn. Searches are going back in the supply. Okay. So I can't keep searching the dock, but I got 2 good items. I'm pretty happy about that. And now it's the killer phase. So here's where it starts to go wrong. The killer has made it to the damned victim. The killer is going to start its turn by executing its ability, which is just to kill a target in its space. Its target is the damned because of the vengeance event. So the damned is dead. The vengeance event said, whenever the killer must choose a target, the damned is chosen instead. The damned can only be saved if it is the last victim alive. Here's what I was reading for. If the damned dies, +2 bloodlusts. That's this track that makes the killer get scarier over time. I am reading this as +2 in addition to the 1 that always happens when a victim is killed. So that is 3 total bloodlust. If anyone in the chat who has played Final Girl disagrees with my interpretation of that, I would love to move it up less, but I am guessing that that is the correct amount of bloodlust, which is a lot. We've also passed a horror icon on here, which means the horror track moves back up. That is part of why I was so adamantly trying to lower it earlier. Okay, this is getting scary. And now, yeah, Mr. Trench thinks that's right. Okay, great. Love that. Oh, shoot. That's not the whole killer turn. That was just the killer's basic action. We're also going to reveal a terror card, which is... Oh, thank God. Well, wait. I don't know. Okay, this is all pretty bad, actually. He's just standing there. This raises horror twice, and that's bad because that means it gets up to the red, where we only roll 1 die now, and also it raises again, and anytime that it would raise and can't go any higher, Bloodlust is going to increase. So we're going to look over here, raise that again, and again, by my interpretation here, we've hit another horror, and I don't think there's rules against this. That causes the track to move again, causing Bloodlust to move again. It's the tables, excuse me, the tables have turned. I think I'm in trouble now. Because what happens when it hits this dark power row is that the bottom card that we dealt Hans is going to reveal. It's a Sledgehammer Massacre. So for the rest of the game, Hans has this ability. For every attack, that's this little, I don't know if this is too readable. Hey, I could probably do that. Will it focus? Yeah, you can kind of read that. I'm still learning what this camera can and can't do as far as that goes. For every attack, Hans attacks you and each victim in his space. So he's no longer killing one victim or attacking me with that attack icon. That attack icon is always going to mean everything, which isn't great. So this, by the way, that was all from this victim dying. The bright side, if he's just standing there, even though raising the horror did all that crap, it's just going to move towards the closest target. It has one in its space and not attack any further. So 1 bullet dodged there. And that he didn't kill everything just yet. Alright, so that tarot card is done. The panic phase. There's going to be actual panic. Because someone died, everyone in the killer's space is going to panic. So we're going to roll a die just for this victim, see where it goes. 4 is going to send it down the path this way, which is actually very helpful for me. I think it buys a little time before the victim gets murdered. So, it's a new round. Horror has never been worse. I have never been more powerless to reduce it. That's not true. I have a focus card. I think I got to start with that. It's back to the action phase. I'm going to play a focus, and I basically need to roll a success or spend the cards to convert it into a success. I hopefully don't roll a blank. That's cocked, but if I can just move the pieces out from under it, it'll fall down onto that side. We'll take it. This I can spend 2 cards to convert. I kind of think Do I just spend my close call for a reroll rather than discard it? Is my question. And then I have 2 walks that I can discard if I have to, but then I have like no mobility. No, I think I just convert it, discarding a walk and a close call, and that leaves me with a walk. Okay, so we've successfully focused. The middle result for focus is reduce horror by 1, which is amazing, and lose a time, which I always forget to reset at the start of the round, was at 6 and is now 5. So those cards are spent, and Case, you're right. I only need to move 1 space this round. But I needed a card to do it. So yeah, so I think I made the right call. Okay. That leaves me with the ability to walk as my last action card. So I think I'll play it. I am back up to 2 dice now since the horror level is back in the white. I'm very afraid of that rising again in the terror phase and just being right back in the red, but I can't do anything about it. So I'm gonna walk. 2 successes. That's what we wanted. That's always what we want. It's a stupid comment. You'd always rather have more successes than less. That's going to let me move up to 2 spaces and lose a time. I'm going to take that time loss right now so I don't forget it. And I will take these victims with me, swing through this exit space, and I can rescue them and keep going. So I'm going to head up there and try to get at least one more victim rescued and unlock my ability. These are going to give me 2 bonuses from Reiko. I actually think +2 time, now's a good time for that, so I can buy a nice hand, maybe do some sprinting, or raising the horror level, or rather, reducing the horror level in the future. So I'm going to take the bonus that is +2 time, puts me back up to 6. And honestly, it might be move 1 space. I'm going to keep holding on to the take the planning action bonus for kind of the late game, because I think that's when you want that card. So I'll move 1 space, and that'll just let me move there. I think that feels pretty good. That was a great roll. Now we're planning. So looking at the supply, I have 6 time to spend, which is a lot. Horror level is still a huge problem, so distraction costs 3 and has the potential even to get it down in chunks of 2. I'm going to take a copy of distraction. That puts me at 3 time remaining. I think I'll take a close call. Puts me at 2 time remaining. And I'm debating between search or sprint, I think. Search would let me go for an item in the utility shed, which is an energy drink, which gives lots of time or movement in the future, which does seem pretty good. Or sprint just lets me move around a lot, and I kind of need it. I have no walk cards. So the problem is sprint is not good for moving 1 space, and I think I'd like to stop in the utility shed and search while I'm there. The energy drink just seems really strong. Having a chunk of time I can get later to buy the big attack cards when it's time to fight back against Hans, that seems really great. So I'm going to take a search card and probably just take a round trying to reduce the horror level, and I'm not going to make it into the location yet this turn. Okay, so I'll do that. I'm going to take a search with my remaining 2 time. Take back all my zeros. It's a focus, a weak attack, and a short rest. And we'll distribute the spent cards back in the supply. Okay, with that, it is the killer phase. The killer, thankfully, because of the panic, does not have anyone to kill with its basic action. So Hans is going to draw a terror card. Horrific Hammer Rush. I have not seen this one. What is a Horrific Hammer Rush? It says, if there are no victims on the board, discard this and draw the next terror card. Otherwise, target the closest victim, move 2 boots, which would be up to 4 spaces, and attack twice. And then for each victim killed during this attack, raise the horror level. Oh, brutal. Okay. Well, this is happening. He's going to target the closest victim, move there. It didn't need all those boots to get there, and attack it, killing it. Killing a victim will raise Bloodlust, and then also this card says for each victim killed during the attack, raise horror. So I'm pretty happy I went for the distraction stuff. We'll try to get that horror back down again. See how that goes. Let me take a sip of my Mountain Dew Spark. Whew. Sweet. Even the zero sugar Mountain Dews are really sweet. Almost borderline too sweet. Probably would do well some vodka to take out the sweetness. Maybe after this game. I'm going to take a break. I'll spike this Mountain Dew. But until then, we've got to figure out what we're doing. The panic phase is nothing. The upkeep phase is nothing. So it's back to actions. So we want to get to the utility shed, but we just flat out can't move this turn. No way to move. So we're just going to do what we can do sitting perfectly still, which includes things like focus. I think I'm going to go focus first. The horror track is in bad shape. I'm only rolling 1 die, but this one only takes 1 success. And failing it is not as bad as failing distraction is. So, resetting my time, by the way. Hoping for the best here. Hoping for the best. Here it comes. Fractal, never heard of anyone spiking that before. I need to know if it's good. I definitely have spiked my share of Mountain Dew. I have not spiked Mountain Dew Spark. That's a mouthful. Their new like raspberry lemonade flavor. But I do spike. I'm a big fan of those like sparkling ice, kind of the tall, clear bottle. And those go great with vodka, so I don't see any reason this wouldn't. Mountain Dew or Rita, salts and lime cut the sweetness. It's not a bad idea. Tequila would, this is citrusy. Tequila would go good with this. I'll think about it. But first I need to think about this turn. I'm rolling for this focus card. I've got a reroll in hand. Hopefully don't need it. I didn't need it. That's a success. So that lowers the horror level and costs a time. I'll make that trade any day. Okay, lovely. Then we're going to try to go even further with it with Distraction. This is the card that has the potential to lower the horror level twice more and gain time, as long as we don't screw it up too badly. So we are up to 2 dice now since the horror level dropped. We have a reroll in hand. Let's make this work. Ooh. 2 cards that, or 2 results that can be converted. Honestly, I'm tempted. I have 4 cards here. I could convert them both, reduce the horror level twice, and gain 2 time, putting me at 7, and then that's my turn. That would be all my cards, but shopping with 7 is great. I'm going to do it. I don't know if this is the right play, because I'm spending some cards that I paid for, but I'm going to do it. All 4 of those cards discarded, and ta-da! 2 successes. I am going to lower the horror level twice and gain 2 time. And that's it. Good. I'm glad Chad agrees with my play. Thank you. That does I'm said that kind of sarcastically, but that actually does make me feel better. Okay, now we're planning. So we've got 7 time to spend. I definitely want my reroll, and I'm taking back my zeros. So that is 4 cards in hand. And then what? I am going to have my walk back. So I think I'm going to, that puts me at 6 time, by the way, since I spent 1. I think I'm going to buy a search so that I can search the utility shed. That puts me down to 4. And then is it time to buy a sprint? Am I going to try to walk into the utility shed, search it, and sprint out? I think so. Sprint costs 2. And then I have 2 left to spend. Not a lot of options that are affordable. And so I think I'm going to just take a guard. This is something that I could, it's 1 more card I could discard if it comes to it, but also I'm going to eventually be attacked by the killer, and this will help prevent damage from it. So I'm going to take a guard. That is all my time spent. If you can manage to get horror either to green or at least low while your focus turns into a reroll instead of a card that needs to be played. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Huh. Because then you can just... Wait, turns into a reroll? What do you... You mean like to convert it? I would attack terror aggressively in my games, but I only played a handful. Improvise and Distraction can give you a lot of breathing room in the long run. Yeah. Use it for 3s and 4s. Yeah, yeah. Okay. That's a good point. That is an upside of if you're in the green on terror, or on horror rather. Can I just say, did this game have to use the words terror and horror both as like game mechanics? They're just like interchangeable words. I don't know if I'm ever gonna get that right. But anyway, let's return the cards we played this turn to the supply. And get back to this. Not get back to this. Get to the killer's turn. Where are we right now? Okay. So the killer is going to take its action. There's no victims in its space, so it can't just kill anyone. And then its terror card is... He just keeps coming again. He's going to raise the horror level. Bumped that up by 1. Targeting the closest victim or final girl. It could be us, it could be me, or the victims, but really it doesn't matter what his target is here. He's going to make the same move which is his speed is 2, and he's moving 1 boot, so 2 spaces. That's a problem because my goal was to rescue the utility shed victims through that exit. But maybe it's not the end of the world. It's pretty much the same distance from this one. Yeah, it'll be fine. Okay, nobody panics. There's no upkeep. We're back to an action phase. And I got a handful of pretty cool cards. I'm thinking the number one thing I want to do is get to the utility shed. Like this, the reroll cards are interesting because as long as I have at least one close call in my hand that I can spend for a reroll, I really carefully think about how to prioritize my actions. Because like I want it available for the most important actions, and then if it gets spent, I want the less important actions to happen when it is less available, in that it's not. But ultimately, I think walking needs to be first. I think it's walk, search, focus. I don't think focusing is like the top priority right now. Focus is what can get the horror down. So I'm gonna start with a walk. Rolling 2 dice. And just rolling successes is the plan. No. Nope, that didn't work at all. Here's the thing. I don't think I want to spend resources converting this. The failure option on walk has this option to move a space, lose a health, and lose 2 time. Speaking of which, always forget to reset time. It's at 6. I think it's worth it. I think I save all my other cards, save my reroll. I lose a health, but I was full. I get to move to the utility shed where I want it to be anyway. Okay. Next play is to search the utility shed. So, I'm gonna play search. I'm gonna roll 2 dice. Gonna get me that energy drink. Oof. Not the best roll. But again, I think I can save my reroll here and play a couple less critical cards to convert this. Mr. Trench in the chat giving me paragraphs to read, but you can also think of it like a survivor card in Arkham. Okay, yeah, if you compare anything to Arkham, that helps. 1 time equals the close call card equals 1/3 chance of natural success equals half of manual success. Sometimes just having a big hand of cards to buy results is better than lots of mediocre actions. Yeah, that I think lines up with what I've been finding. Is that sometimes buying the guards and stuff, it's nice to have them in hand, but also they just end up getting spent like it might here. In fact, I think I am. I want to keep my walk card available, so I'm going to spend... Oh man, this is tough though. I think it's the focus. I think we're just going to say horror level is fine. It's fine. I'm going to spend the focus and the guard to convert a success here, which lets me take the top item card in my space, the energy drink. There's no way these things are good for you, but they're better than dying. This is the one that I can put in my backpack here. It doesn't take up a hand space. And I can discard it during the action phase to choose one of the following: +3 time or move 1 space. And that'll, I think, be good in the late game. Or maybe good like this turn if I only sprint 2 and I want to rescue these victims now. So we'll see. That leaves me with sprinting to the exit for these victims. So I'm going to play the sprint card, which has the potential, with 2 successes, to move up to 3 spaces, which would be awesome. That's exactly what we want. I forgot again to lose time from the search, right? Wait, I lost 1 time from the search and 2 time from walking. Yeah, I should be down to 3. Okay, so I've got that down at 3. I'm sprinting. Here goes. Oh, okay. That was a success and a convertible success. I have a walk and a close call left. I think that's perfect. I think I spend the rest of my cards, make this 2 successes, lose a time to move 3 spaces, taking the victims with me, and they're safe. I love that. That's enough to get the final Reiko bonus, which will earn the if I switch to where we can see it. Come on, there we go. The planning card. So this will let me set up for a big die roll later. And then we're going to, I think we just can discard those victims. I don't think we need them anymore. And Reiko flips. She's gained the ability, once per action phase, if an enemy is within 2 spaces, you may move to that enemy's space for free. So this is when we want to get aggro. That's going to be handy. And then going forward, which I assume includes this other victim, going forward, for each additional victim save, receive a time. So I am going to gain a time back for rescuing that extra victim. My guess is that those are the last victims I will be saving, because those remaining 2 are a lot closer to the killer than they are to me, and I don't feel good about my odds of doing that. I am wondering, I'm trying to think through what's my game plan here. The axe is just so much more damage than the knife, in that it adds 2 damage every time I attack. Is it worth going for that, or am I geared up enough to turn and fight? I guess I don't have to decide that now. I am on the planning phase because I've played all this stuff. Most of it discarded for things, but yeah, so it goes. So I have 3 time to spend. I'm kind of thinking it's just a distraction this time. Attempts to set this up. I just wish I had a close call then. But yeah, distraction, try to reduce horror more, gain some time to buy better cards next time. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to buy a distraction that costs exactly 3. Send my time back to 6 so I don't forget. And it's the killer turn. So, I need to add my zeros to my hand, a focus, a short rest, and a weak attack. And let's get these all back. Oh, wait, I gained this planning card. Wait, did I play all my cards? Shoot. I did something confusing to myself here. Yeah, because I gained that planning card. That's right. That was the only card that was in my hand after doing that. I think everything else I had played. Okay, so then the distraction joins them. Focus, short rest, and weak attack do 2. And now we're gonna just discard the rest of these. Okay. Killer turn. The killer tries to just stab someone and can't, so that's great. And then we've got a terror card. The Minor Dark Power Unholy Range. Hans does an additional damage for each attack. This is going to go up into his Minor Dark Power slot, and it gets 2 health. Basically, the first time I attack Hans, the health comes off of there, and the Unholy Rage goes away once the health has been hit. So yeah, that's even better reason to attack him before he gets a chance to attack me. Okay. All in all, I have found that the minor dark powers are like not that bad of terror cards. They tend to feel like a break, right? He did not blitz towards and attack those victims. Like, I'm going to call that a win. He didn't raise horror. I'm going to call that a win. So it's back to the action phase again. How much time is left? There are 3 terror cards left before we get the finale, which is basically where Hans like enrages. So I think we want to start moving towards Hans. I don't think it's realistic to make it all the way 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces to the cabins and search the cabins to get that axe, which would just do 1 more point of damage per attack, which is a lot because it's per attack. But I think we're good. I think we're ready. We're ready to turn the tables on Hans. So, oh, none of that mattered. We can't move. I have no walk cards. I have no sprints. We're just sitting here, maybe planning a distraction. we're gonna play a distraction. All right, rolling 2 dice. 2 successes here, please. 1 success. That's fine. That lowers the horror by 1 and gains me 1 time. I think that was great. I literally, I don't have a reroll. There's nothing I could do about it, even if I wanted to. So we've done the distraction, and then yeah, let's keep getting that horror down. We want extra dice when we're attacking, so I'm gonna play the focus card. Rolling again. At least 1 success, please. Just a convertible success. That's fine. Ooh. Am I fine discarding the weak attack? I won't have it in hand next turn if I wanted to take the fight to Hans. I think I gotta. I think it's worth it. I'm going to discard my weak attack and short rest to convert that to a success, and then the focus card lowers horror even more and loses a time. And I'm going to hold on to this planning card, kind of for the same reasons I've been holding on to it. I have this energy drink I can discard for 3 time. I'm trying to decide whether I want to do that so I can really go shopping for good stuff. I kind of think sure. That would get me from 6 time to 9. And that feels great. So I will spend that item. Let's get that off the table. And gain 3 times. So I'm at 9. And I am planning. So looking at the supply, I am seeing a Furious Strike, which can do damage and lower the horror level, which sounds awesome. Also, Improvise is a fairly low risk way to try to make your dice rolls better for your attacks and other important things. So, like, I think an Improvise for 3, 1, 2, 3, a Furious Strike for 4, leaves me with 2, and I can buy both Close Calls with those 2. That feels good. That joins my hand with planning and these zeros, a focus and 2 walks. And that walk those walks plus Reiko's ability should let me come up and fight if I'm ready to this turn. But we'll see what the killer does. After I distribute the spent cards really quick into the supply. Hans takes a turn, still can't murder anyone with his basic attack, so his terror card is... He wants fresh blood. This is, I guess, pretty common text saying discard this and draw the next terror card if there's no victims. Otherwise, he's going to target the victims, move 2 boots worth, which is 4 spaces, 2 times 2, and attack. So this is the end of these victims. Yep, he's going to move 1, 2. And his Sledgehammer Massacre says that if he kills 1, he kills them all. So 2 victims killed. Bloodlust raises by 2, which is going to raise the horror back to level 4. But that's smack in the middle of the 2 dice part of the track. I can live with that. He is now doing 4 damage if he attacks me. That's scary, since I have 5 health. But so be it. Panic Phase is nothing because there's no more victims. Upkeep Phase, there's still no finale. We have 2 tarot cards left. Yeah, so it's just about, can we bring the fight to him? And if we can, is it a good idea to do it? But I don't know that we're getting that much better an opportunity than this action phase. So if I can walk to be 2 spaces away, Reiko lets me leap in. And I just have 1 attack in hand. So we'll see. We'll see how the walks go. I could spend 1 more turn kind of building my hand. I think I would maybe not regret that if I did. So first I'm going to play a walk. And roll a convertible success. So 1 success moves 1 space and loses 1 time. With no successes, I can move 1 space, lose a health, and lose 2 time. So basically this conversion would save me a time and a health. That's probably worth it. We're going to get rid of the... Ugh. You know, I'm going to play a close call. I don't want to discard any of these. So let's re-roll the blank and hope for a better result. Not really better. It's another convertible success. Whew. Maybe I should have improvised. I probably should have improvised. Okay, well I'm not gonna waste any more re-rolls on this, so I am going to discard. So I don't think I'm going for the kill this turn. I think this is where I'm landing. So I'm gonna discard 2 cards. It's probably my other walk and focus. All these are just other good cards. Yeah, my walk and my focus to make this 1 success, which lets me move up to 1 space, lose 1 time. So I'll just move up the path, lose a time, so I'm at 5, and that might be the end of my action phase, as I don't really have anything else to do here, but don't mind shopping for a few more things. So let's do that. We're gonna go to the planning phase. I've got 5 time to spend. Since I'm planning on going in for this fight, oh, it's tough. I would love a retaliate that lets me cancel killer attacks and do damage back, but there's no 1-cost cards available to buy, and so with 5 times spending 4 is like not super appealing. I don't really want the long rest though. You know, okay, here's what I'll do. Horror is going to continue to be an issue, and now I've spent my reaction. I spent my guard earlier. I didn't have one, so I'm going to take another guard for 2, and a distraction for 3, and I get back these 3 zeros, bringing me to 9 cards in my hand. Okay. Okay, this is going fine. I actually do think this is stressful and could go either way, but like I'm in a decent position here. It's the killer turn. So, killer's going to take its action, which is to attack. There is nothing in its space to attack. He'll draw his terror card. You can't save us. No one can. This would be discarded if there were no victims. Then it causes victims to panic. He's going to attack, and finally... this last action, I might have to check a rule, because if he's targeting a victim and there are no victims, does he target the final girl and move towards me? I am guessing yes, but let's see. I don't know. I'm having a little trouble getting an answer on this. Okay, well, you know what? Honestly, the ambiguity rule handles this. I think whether we're talking about what's worse for me or what's realistic, which we did not end up deciding on before, right? Either way, I think it heads towards me. So Hans is going to take 2 moves towards me because his speed is 2. That sets the map like this. We are just like staring down this path at each other. And it could go either way. So that was the killer phase. There's 1 terror card left before the finale. And I'm going to try to get as much damage on him as I can before then. So, panic phase is nothing, upkeep phase is nothing, it's back to actions, and... Do I leap in with Reiko? Probably. Probably I go for some attacks here. I've got my weak attack and my Furious Strike in hand. I think I'm going to start with improvising and try to make all 3s and 4s successes this phase. So... I'm going to play improvise, and horror level has me roll 2 dice, Okay, a success and a convertible success. Is there a name for that icon? Partial success. Okay, a partial success. I do think I want to convert that because I'm gonna put in my focus and short rest into converting that, because now for the rest of the phase, all 3s and 4s are successes. So all of those def worth converting. Thank you, Case. Okay, so for the rest of the phase, the partial successes are successes. So we've done it. It's time to dive in. Also, this pepper spray. This has been part of my plan. I haven't mentioned it in a while. This is going to be huge because I can jump into the killer space, and then as soon as the killer ends, or as soon as the killer phase begins, I can just skip the killer phase with this pepper spray. That's going to be nuts. That actually, unless I'm misunderstanding, there will be no tarot card draw, so it even delays the finale a turn. That seems super strong. Okay. So, Reiko's ability lets me just move in for free. So, here we are. Time to stab. I'm going to start with the weak attack and the furious strike both have the potential to accidentally end the action phase if I fail. But, I'm going to chance it with the weak attack first. Blunderbutt, thank you for the follow. Love your name. Appreciate having you here. Okay. Weak attack it is. Still rolling 2 dice, but 3s and 4s are successes instead of partial successes. Blunderbutt says, every win I've had with this map has been with a pepper spray. Yeah, I won last night without it. Off camera, so you can believe me or not. But it does seem exceptionally strong, especially... No, I guess anytime. I was gonna say especially when the finale hasn't begun yet, so you can delay the finale. But I guess it basically nullifies the fact that it's the finale. So either way, it seems really good. Anyway, this weak attack. We need to not whiff this roll. We did not whiff the roll. I'm not gonna re-roll this. I do lose a heart, which is scary because now the killer's attack would kill me. 4 damage and I have 4 health left. But I'm gonna find a way to rest. I'll heal back up. So the weak attack is going to do 2 damage because the knife adds a damage. So 2 damage will knock out the Unholy Rage, which no progress on the health pool yet, but essentially 2 health down and his Unholy Rage seems good. In my game last night, I had the Aluminum Bat, which when you attack with it, it just discards one of those, so it effectively did +2 damage, and got rid of a Dark Power. That was super good. That's another very good card that did not come out this game. Okay, well that went great. That went more or less great. I did lose a health. Next, I think it's going to be a distraction. I'm double checking that I haven't lost any time yet, right? No, I haven't, so I should be at 6. I'm going to do the distraction because I'd like to keep the horror level low, maybe even gain some time, and Furious Strike has a good chance of ending the action phase, so I want to do that last. So I will use distraction, roll my 2 dice. Hey, thanks to my improvising, these partial successes are both successes. That's going to reduce horror by 2 and gain 2 time. That was huge. That was amazing. All right. Now it's time to Furious Strike, I think. I'm not going to use Planning yet. That's kind of the other card in my hand. Planning adds dice to the next horror roll, but since Improvise has me in such good shape, I'm just going to go for it with the Furious Strike. Here goes nothing. 2 natural successes. Wow. Okay. That's amazing. That is 3 damage to Hans because my knife adds 1. So 3 hearts down. And it reduces the horror into the green. Now I'm rolling 3 dice every time. That's super good. I'm starting to feel very optimistic here. The one issue is that I have spent all my attack cards, but I do have enough. I do have enough time to buy a shiny new one. Yeah. This is good. I'm going to hold on to the rest of my cards and call that a phase. So the planning phase, I have 8 time to spend. And that's the wrong button. There's my supply. With 8 time to spend, the critical blow is looking real good. Critical blow can do up to 3 damage and raise the horror, or lower the horror level even further. And it's kind of the only option out here. There's not actually that many attack cards. Thank you, Kyle, in chat. It's the hope that kills you. Yeah, we watched Ted Lasso together when he visited. The episode by that title is a little brutal. Let's hope that's not what happens here. Where were we looking? We're looking at the supply. We're gonna buy a critical blow. And nothing for 2 is all that appealing. So I think it's going to be this close call, so I have another reroll in a pinch, and I'm wasting a time. I'm wasting a time, unless I want to discard one of these cards for +1 time, so I can afford something. Actually, sure. I think I'm going to do that. I'm retconning very slightly to my action phase, because during the action phase you can discard cards for +1 time. So I'm just going to discard this close call, since I'm going to buy... I've got 1 coming at me this turn. It increases my time to 9, and that way I can afford a critical blow, a close call, and another guard. So I should be pretty safe when Hans attacks me. I'm also going to take back my walk and focus 0-cost cards. Let's get the supply repopulated. And now it's Hans' turn, but wait, I have Pepper Spray. The killer's in my space. I can discard this to immediately end the killer phase. We are just going to skip his entire phase. Seems extremely good. And after the killer phase whiffs, the panic phase is nothing. There's still a tarot card left, so we're not going to the finale in the upkeep phase just yet. And it's back to me. So let's get some more damage on Hans. The critical blow has the potential to do 4 damage, which is a lot, but Hans has so much health, man. I'm just trying to decide kind of what's my game plan here. Do I want to hit him and then walk away so that I don't have to use all my defensive cards just yet? Right, I can wait for him to come at me. I think that'll be the play. So I'm going to start with this. Oh, I want this critical blow to hit. All right, it's time. It's time to play planning. This is a card I haven't played yet. Just trying to make it visible on stream. A full success would give me +3 dice on the next horror roll. Partial success would be 2 dice and cost of time. This all seems pretty good to me. So I'm rolling 3 dice now since we're in green horror level. And 1 success. All right, not as good as I would have liked, but I'm not going to spend a reroll on that. That's going to lose me a time, but give me 2 extra dice for my next horror roll, which will be my critical blow. So I'm going to get 5 dice on this monstrosity. A full success would be 3 damage +1 from my knife and lower the horror level. So 5 dice better get me this success. It didn't. Whew. That's only 2 partial successes and nothing else. Well, I've got a close call. I'm going to spend the 2 time on it for a full reroll of all dice. Now, success is nearly guaranteed, right? Right. God, the same thing. Oh, no. Okay. Okay, this is a tougher fight than I thought. I think my plan is no longer to walk away. I've got to convert one of these. Well, okay. I could still walk away. I'm going to discard a focus and a walk to convert one of these into a success. And I'm going to stop there. That means it will end the action phase, but I'll have a walk and 2 guards in my hand. So I can get away next turn, and if I want to. And I've got those guards to help with his attack against me. Yes, yes, yes. Mr. Trench bought a drink. Cheers. I promise I will spike this with vodka after this game is over. I'm too close to call it to take a break now. So, just hardlining caffeine is all. That remains fine. It's fine. As you said in the chat, LOL, it's fine. I don't think you and I were talking about the same thing there, but yep, it's fine. Okay, critical blow hits for 3 damage, 2 for the 1 success tier and 1 from the knife. We'll take 3 off of Hans. Going to lower the horror level, which is always great, but then it forces an end to the action phase. So that is it. It's to the planning phase where I have 3 time left to spend, which is not a lot. Oops, for some reason, the close calls, I have the hardest time not discarding them into the supply. That was spent this turn, so there's 1 available to buy. This is rough because it doesn't buy me an attack. I think I actually have to discard a card for a time here. Yeah. I'm going to discard 1 of my 2 copies of Guard for +1 time, putting me at 4. So I can buy a Furious Strike. That'll help keep the horror level down and keep doing damage. Yep. I don't know if that was the right play. I'm getting nervous here. Because you don't have a lot of health as a final girl. If he lands an attack, you're in bad shape. But we'll see. And, oh shoot, before I distributed those, I should have taken back the 2 zeros also. Okay. Not a great hand, I gotta say. Not a great hand. Oh yeah, Case says, from my read, Retaliate would also get the damage boost from the knife. So, I had that question last night. This came up after poring over the rulebook and Googling it and not finding answers, even though this is a pretty straightforward, like a common question. I thought you don't, because it said the rules say that that weapons add to your attack, and they say to attack, play an action card with damage on it. Well, I guess Retaliate qualifies then, but kind of, and then it says like before you roll, you declare the weapon and everything when you play one of those. But yeah, I guess that can all work on Retaliate. You just declare I'm retaliating with my knife. Okay, that's actually probably a better buy then. So if we're going with that interpretation, there's no card type attack. Right, that's it. Just defined attack as a card with damage, which I guess Retaliate is. No, I didn't see any rules saying, and I didn't see any rules saying that Retaliate, or that reaction and attack are like mutually exclusive card types or anything. So, okay, I think you're right then. Buying a Retaliate instead of a Furious Strike is better. And, yeah. Okay, then, it's the killer phase, which killer's gonna actually do stuff this time. The killer action is to attack me. And so I'm going to retaliate here. That says, thankfully, his dark power buffing his attack is gone, or I would still be risking like taking enough damage to die. But as long as I roll a success here, I can reduce the damage he's dealing to me so I don't die and deal damage back. Kyle, sorry, I'm laughing at the chat. Kyle redeemed 10,000 points to level up on our Discord and says, now I'm the killer. I'm not sure how those relate, but I still found that funny. Yeah, we're retaliating. We've got 3 dice because the horror level is low-ish. It is low. We need at least a success to reduce this. If we don't reduce it, we have lost all of our health, which is not ideal. So let's just succeed. One success, one partial success. So I can basically convert that success to ignore all damage from that attack, which seems pretty good. I think I'm just, yeah, I think I'm going to get rid of my short rest and my walk. Short rest is a healing card, so that's scary. But if I spend them, I ignore all the damage from this attack, do 3 damage back, and I have Hans 1 attack away from potentially from being dead. So, okay. That's the play. We've used Retaliate, converted that success, ignored all the damage, done 3 back. I have a weak attack in hand, but it's a damage short with the knife. So I'm going to need to find out 1 more attack. I don't think I can kill him next round, which is sad. But now he's going to draw his last tarot card, which is... Oh! Which is maybe things are starting to go our way. Draw the top card of any item deck. Oh, this is amazing. That's all it does. This is a rare, good terror effect. There's an axe visible on top of this item deck, and an axe does +2 damage, which combined with a weak attack would do 3. Which is how much health he has. I think that everything about that sounds great. So I'm going to take the axe, put it in my hands instead of the knife, and we'll discard that tarot card. That was a huge lucky break. If he had attacked, I would have been on another reaction to like roll well or die. And instead of him attacking or doing anything bad, I found an axe. Amazing, amazing. If that were the plot of a movie, I would be complaining about the Deus Ex Machina being too transparent. Okay. So the panic phase goes by, there's no victims left to panic, and the upkeep phase, we are going to reveal the finale, since there's no tarot cards left. So that is the top half of his kit here, which is Dark, Darker, Darkest. He now has the killer action to target, well, it'll target me, move twice his speed and attack, and... This says to draw a second dark power when this is revealed. I'm a little... So, I have the dark powers here. I know what it means to draw a dark power card. I'm a little confused about what it will mean to have 2 dark power cards. But let's draw one first. So, it is... Oops, that's the wrong view. It is Bloodbath. Bloodbath just gives him a double attack as a killer action. So I guess here's my question. Does this replace his dark power? But then why did that have an action? Or does he do all of that when he activates? He targets, moves, attacks, targets again, moves again, double attacks? I don't know. I'm gonna look up... We're still learning a little bit here. I'm gonna look up dark powers. There's a whole section on it, right? Like, can he have 2? Does one replace another? Let's see. No, that's a... Oh, sorry. Yeah. This is not a dark power. This is a finale card. Dark power is his bottom cards. Okay. Making sure we're not taking the high difficulty one. All right, let's try this again. Forget that. We have figured out how to play this game. Feed. Feed is the new dark power. It says for every victim that Hans kills, he recovers a health. That, again, basically whiffs. That is a great draw. It's not, I don't think, going to look backwards at the number of victims he has killed. So he's not going to heal now. I think that was great. Okay. Here's where we're at. I have a whopping 2 cards in my hand because I spent so much on retaliating there. And so this weak attack just has to hit. And as long as it does, Hans is losing his last point of health. And if it doesn't, I'm in deep trouble. But I can't walk. I'm out of movement cards. Reset my time to 6. Here we go. We got 3 dice. We need a success. But we don't have 2 cards to convert a partial success. So we need a natural success. Here we go. Yes, 2 successes. Okay, so that's amazing. It's not quite over yet because the weak attack is going to do a damage plus my axe's 2 damage is 3, but the last point of health we're going to flip over, and it is possible that Hans rises one more time when we thought he was dead with health left. And he doesn't! We've done it! I think we also might have, we could have, we had a guard card. We could have been screwed if he had any more secret, you know, bonus health there. We did it! Oh man, okay. This game's great! I'm really... I see in the... What happened? Oh, okay. Oh no. Here, I'll buy you. Yeah, it's broken. Here, let's try this again. I'll give you a freebie. There's the slap. Celebratory Kyle slap. I think some of my new camera angles had that below, had that layer below the camera. I'll have to fix that. Oh, killer got. That's right. Okay, this was awesome. I had a great time with it. I'm going to keep playing it after a little break. Also, Kyle, if you're home and want to figure out with me how to get you in and you know, hanging out as we thwart another killer, I'm down. So we'll chat during the break. Either way, I'm gonna like kind of go to the bathroom, spike a Mountain Dew with vodka, and figure that out. So it might be 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll be back and play. We're gonna unbox a new set of Final Girl and play whatever villain and location. Well, I know what villain and location, right? It is Geppetto in the Carnival of Blood. So we'll do that in a few minutes, and talk to you then.